Let's bring you some sports news now. The Ghana Football Association has dissolved the management committee of the Black Stars. We're wondering why. We do have sports journalist Michael Otieje. He's a sports journalist here at Media Journal. He joins us live in studio. Michael, are you able to tell us why at this time?
Well, it's related to the events of the Black Stars in the last few days. Remember, last week Friday, the Black Stars failed to qualify for the Nations Cup off the back of that failure to beat Angola in Luanda. It meant that Ghana couldn't qualify for the Nations Cup, and then that coup de grace was completed when the Black Stars lost against Niger on Monday. It meant that for the first time in 20 years, since 2004, the Black Stars will be absent from the Nations Cup. It also meant that in the last 6 international matches under coach Addo, the Black Stars have lost 3 and drawn 3. Basically, the culmination of all that has been a significant deal of anger and frustration over where Ghana football is heading towards. So the Ghana Football Association Executive Committee, which is a bit like the board of the body, met yesterday. It's a role where everybody there is elected. Met yesterday and reviewed how the team has performed and came up with a number of decisions. Primary to those decisions, they came up with one of the key decisions was to dissolve the management committee. Now, the national teams are managed at the sub-level by management committees. Then you obviously have the administrative staff and all that, but every national team, be it the Black Stars, the women team, have management committees.
And Otto Addo is part of the management?
No, he's not. He is the coach of the team, but those who make sure that the travel arrangement is right, this goes well, that goes well, basically who plan and prepare for things is the management committee, and they've become the first casualty. But it's not unique. Management committees are changed over and over again. In many cases, a lot of them still find themselves back onto it. There's a great deal of recycling of those committees, so I don't think people should get too excited by that.
That's quite serious, and I'm glad you talked about the anger, because there have been strong sentiments following these events, to an extent that recently at a press conference, as a fan was like, "You're not a coach," was even referring to the coach as not qualified to occupy his position.
He was a sports journalist. I think there's been a significant amount, and rightly so, scrutiny of what Otto Addo has brought to the team and his own culpability in all this. I think that there are a lot of people involved in the sport, like myself, convinced that this is Otto Addo's failure, given that this is the 4th coach under Keto Kweku where nothing has gone right. It's a reflection of a higher malaise with leadership in the Ghana Football Association. Keto has done some brilliant work in a lot of areas, but with the national team, it's been absolutely bad. The junior teams are not thriving. The women team do okay. The Black Stars have been quite bad under his watch, dropped to their lowest ranking in a mighty while. The Black Stars have not won in a long time. This year, the Black Stars have won only 2 games. It's under his administration that the Black Stars failed to get out of the group stages of back-to-back Nations Cups in 2021 and 2023. And then it's been under his watch that the Black Stars have failed to qualify for anything. In addition, the qualifiers was the first time since the group phase of the qualifiers were introduced that Ghana didn't win any game. The Black Stars drew 3, lost 3. Ghana is one of 5 countries who didn't win any game. Some of the other countries include Chad, Madagascar, Eswatini. So everything about the Nations Cup, when you break down the results, speaks to an unbelievable level of decay in the Black Stars, and I think that's what a lot of people are frustrated about.
So I'm going to ask you 2 questions in one: the future for Otto Addo, and indeed the bit about recently we even spoke about the changes he made where he didn't even include the IUs. We thought that those were part of processes to kind of make the team better.
Well, the GFA statement that he issued to update us on what happened at the meeting was silent on his future. Silent as in it didn't say whether he was staying or he was going. I thought it was a bit instructive, though, that he said that he had called another meeting for next week, Wednesday, to to discuss his match report. So not just to discuss his report from the qualifiers, but also to discuss how he has done since he's been put in place. Basically, he is having a performance appraisal with the executive committee. And the reason this is significant is because the idea was that Kurt was so in love with Otto Addo that by whichever way necessary he was going to stay. Two inferences from this for me. Either this is just part of all a dressed up process to say, well, we went through the process and we are convinced that he's good for the future, so we want to keep him, or we are going to come to a conclusion where the rest of the executive committee say that having reviewed what Otto Addo has done, and this is what he's done in his period here, he's played 10 matches, he's won 2 in the World Cup qualifiers, he's lost a great deal of them. 4 of those games he lost to Nigeria, first time since 2002. Then he lost those 3 Nations Cup qualifiers. He's drawn 3 of them in the qualifiers, 1 friendly against Uganda. I think that they will review all that and then come to the decision. But they will also review, as you mentioned, his handling on a lot of dynamics within the team. His man management reflected in the issues around their use, the issues around Thomas Partey and the rest. So it will be quite a complicated meeting.
Thank you very much, Michael Otieje.